Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Telescope Podcast. Thank you for listening.
What's up, everybody? Everyone in this place, if you could do a handstand, I want to see your feet up in the air right now. Wave them around, that's right. Woo! We're the hype.
Hello, and welcome to the Telescope Show, where we are discovering God through geek culture. Matthew Seipel Anderson here with you. It is 6:01 a.m. at this very moment. It is an early morning show. I have not even had one cup of coffee because it is upstairs brewing, but I love you all that much that I'm willing to do this show coffeeless for you. Well, it is episode number 73, and today we are discussing the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and we have a special musical number from a group of Winona State University students. It's so cool and so fun. All right, let's bust into some news. Isaac Asimov's Foundation is coming to Apple TV sometime in 2021. Very excited about that. No official release date, but thought I'd keep it on your radar. There's no official release date for Amazon's Middle-earth series. Very excited about that. Lots of excitement out there on the interwebs about that. Production has resumed, though. Many of the COVID restrictions have been lifted over in New Zealand, according to IndieWire. Man, that's going to be an exciting show. The price tag, like I've mentioned before, is a whopping $450 million. That is nearly $500 million. Wow. That's just a lot of money. The article details everything we know about the show and the plot and the cast, so go over to the show notes and check out the article from IndieWire.com. There are lots of shows in the Star Wars pipeline. It looks like the next one to drop is The Bad Batch. It's an animated spin-off of the Clone Wars series that features a group of clones that are not so clonish. There were 4 episodes that featured The Bad Batch in the final series of the Clone Wars cartoon, and they were fun episodes, but I would say definitely geared for a younger audience, so expect more of the same from The Bad Batch show itself. Mandalorian Season 3 is also shrouded in mystery. A lot of mystery so far today in the news section. That release date has bounced around some, and we don't have a solid one yet, but we are getting the Book of Boba Fett. It's based on, you guessed it, Boba Fett, who made his return from the depths of the Sarlacc pit to make an appearance in The Mandalorian Season 2. The Book of Boba Fett is slated to drop in December of 2021. All right, before we get into our feature content today, I teased that we have a special treat from some friends of mine, Megan, Kenzie, Shelby, and some guy named Matt that I actually don't know, but I kind of like him already. I feel a strange affinity toward anyone named Matt. They created their own version of the Marvel theme song. I caught up with the gang a few weeks ago and talked to them about their creation. Why don't you guys, before we do this, just introduce yourselves so everyone knows who I'm talking to.
Yeah, so I'm Shelby.
I'm Kenzie.
And I'm Megan.
And you guys are all college students at Winona State University?
Yep.
You guys have created a special project, kind of a love letter to Marvel. Can you tell me a little bit about what you guys did?
Yeah, so the 3 of us and a bunch of our friends, we would always gather around the TV, much like any other holiday. It was on Fridays, very special occasions.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. when the newest episode of whatever Marvel show was coming out on Disney+. And so we would all gather together, and then lo and behold, without even thinking about it, we started just singing along to the Marvel theme song, because we all know it so well. And then we just did it again, but made it a little bit better.
And just for 11 hours.
For 11 hours.
And next thing we knew, it was 6 a.m.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So wait, let's back up for a second. I've got to get this timeline right. So this just started as kind of a funny thing you would do when you would sit around and watch like the latest episode of Marvel fill in the blank.
Yeah,
and then
one of our friends joked around saying, "Oh, we should do an acapella version of this," and we just took him a little too seriously.
Yep.
Yeah.
That night, actually.
Yep.
and it started at what time? 8:00 at night. What time did it start?
Midnight.
Started at midnight, ended at
Yep.
6 a.m.
Yep.
Yes. That's some serious
Yeah,
dedication.
we were all sleep deprived.
That's some serious dedication. That's amazing. And I should say I know all these people personally because they all serve on our worship team at church. So not just a bunch
Our
of
worship skills are really coming out.
Oh yeah.
in
This
the
is
Marvel theme song.
various. I feel really
We're
spiritual.
all in worship the next day.
So, Matt,
Yeah.
when you said at rehearsal, man, this is what happens when you don't practice. We might as well just be singing a cappella.
Have a lot more meaning.
That has a whole lot more meaning.
Yeah, I could tell there was some kind of inside joke happening at that point because you guys pretty much died laughing.
We just
But Matt, here's the thing. You can't tell anybody until this upcoming Friday when we're going to show our watch party friends by replacing the audio of the show with our own.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have the job of recording everyone. Someone's going to have the job of muting the show. And then someone has the job of hitting play.
Oh,
It'll
nice,
be
nice.
a whole adventure.
All right. Well, you've got my word. I will not release it till after said date.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys go so you can enjoy the rest of your night. But thanks a lot for taking the time to chat with me.
Yeah,
Thanks
you.
for having us on.
It was fun.
Awesome. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Thank you, ladies, for talking with me and hanging out for a little while. Now, I cannot think of a better way to introduce Falcon and Winter Soldier than to just play this song, the Marvel theme song. Yes, Falcon and Winter Soldier wrapped up, and wow, it was a very enjoyable ride. And if you are a listener to the show, you'll know the previous episode was basically my little mini review of the show up to that point, and I made some predictions, and I was not right about everything, definitely. But I was right about a few big ones, so I'm very excited that Zemo did have an evil plot all laid out before he turned himself in to Bucky and the Wakandan Guard. Carly and her goons died. I get about 50%. I get like half a point for that one because I wasn't sure if they would kill her, but I suspected. I mean, they were like new characters that were definitely expendable, and it was sad. They really built up the emotions with having her and Sam have a little connection, but she bit the dust. The biggest prediction that I nailed was that Sharon Carter was the power broker, and that was just so cool to see, even in the post-credits scene, that they're definitely teasing her as a major villain going forward for the series. So I was wrong about a whole bunch of stuff, so I can't claim to be a cinema prophet, but we don't need to rehash the mistakes of the past. Let's just move forward. I loved the miniseries. The show definitely brought Sam and Bucky to new places, and it really, really spoke to some current issues in a positive and timely way. And I was just completely thrilled that they announced a second season. Or is it a second season, or is it just another outing with these characters? I don't know. But they called it Captain America and White Wolf. Yes, it's so good. And, of course, like I mentioned, they definitely planted seeds for the next season. I would be curious to know where you all think the show is going to go next season. What's going to happen? What twists and turns are coming our way? Who are they going to introduce? I'm sure there's some other videos out there on this, so you can go watch them and, take some good answers. Throw them in the comments here or on our Facebook page, The Telescope Show. And, hey, speaking of, you should all go over and find us in the Facebook group section. We've got a Facebook group called The Telescope Show, and that is where all the fun really happens. That's where I do a lot of posting, and we throw memes back and forth, and it's just a great way to connect with other listeners. I like groups because it's not as dependent on the administrator, right? Like Facebook pages, they're pages that are like a business page. They have a different vibe, but groups, it's like you're just part of the group. Anyone can post things. You can get conversations going, so groups are cool. So go check that out. This is the show where we discover God through geek culture. So let's
Bring forth the telescope.
Isaiah Bradley looks Sam in the eye and says, "They will never let a black man be Captain America. And if they did, no self-respecting black man would ever want to be." Ooh, that was an amazing scene in episode 5 of the show. That whole scene where those two sit and discuss this issue. So the question that came to my mind is, why does Sam defy the cynical outlook of Isaiah Bradley? The answer is faith. Not so much faith in a religious sense, but faith. Faith in a better future. He says this, "I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes. Every time I pick this thing up, I know there are millions of people out there who are going to hate me for it. Even now, here, I feel it. The stares, the judgment, and there's nothing I can do to change it. Yet, I'm still here. No super serum, no blonde hair or blue eyes. The only power I have is that I believe we can do better." Another amazing moment, a little spine-tingling moment for the show, as you see Sam really embracing his identity as Captain America. Honestly, the series could not be more timely. I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota recently, where the trials are taking place for the officers involved in the death of George Floyd and Dante Wright. I saw many businesses with boards over their windows, either because of rioting or in anticipation of rioting. There's an uneasy feeling in the air. And, I talked to an African-American lady in our church. She's in her mid-60s. And she said, "I've been dealing with this my whole life. My mother grew up in the days of lynchings, and I've seen the same things over and over again throughout the years." She went on to tell me that she actually refuses to drive at night on the freeway because she's afraid of being pulled over. She told me all about her fear for her kids. She has adult children and for her grandkids. And she just told me story after story. And, so hearing that, it just, again, underscores the fact that Falcon and Winter Soldier really hit an issue that is front page stuff. This racial stuff in our society. And Sam chose to hope for a better future. And as I talked to this woman, though, it was interesting because the focus in this conversation shifted, and she actually started to tell me about how important it was for her and for other people to refuse to hate. And it echoes some things said by Reverend Booker T. Washington. And if you might be out there, you might think, Booker T., that was like a WWE wrestler. Yes, it was. But he took his name from the Reverend Booker T. Washington, who lived from 1856 to 1915. He was a hero in African American history. He was born as a slave in 1890, like I said, and was freed and died in 1915. Walker would agree with my church friend's point of view. He said this, "I learned the lesson that great men cultivate love, and that only little men cherish a spirit of hatred. I learned that assistance given to the weak makes the one who gives it strong, and that oppression of the unfortunate makes one weak." That was from Booker T. Washington's book, Up From Slavery. Booker T. was a reverend, and I suspect that he picked up this wise outlook from another member of a minority community who was oppressed and eventually killed by those in power, Jesus Christ. Jesus asked his disciples if they wanted to be great. He told them they must be servants of all to be great in God's eyes. Jesus said that we should treat others as we want to be treated. and that we must even love our enemies. Jesus' teachings, they seem meek at first, but they really make you strong on the inside. They make your character strong. They make you strong in God's eyes. And they have a powerful effect on everyone who sees you acting that way. It's an amazing thing. So Sam, our new Captain America, chose not to live in hate and chose to believe that we can do better. Maybe this is the day when the words and wisdom of Jesus Christ, Booker T. Washington, and Sam Wilson will come to fruition, and we will do better. Hey, thanks everyone for listening. It's so much fun discovering God through geek culture and talking about all this stuff. It's deep stuff, and it's a lot of fun to talk about nerdy stuff too. Hey, this episode was not brought to you by Audible. Head over to www.thetelescopeshow.com. Click on the link to join Audible, and you can listen to great books like Up From Slavery by Booker T. Washington, and it helps out the show when you do so. All right, love y'all. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
What's up, everybody? Everyone in this place, if you can do a handstand, I want to see your feet up in the air right now.